Welcome to the hot seat with Mr. White with another video. Snoop Dogg reveals hard-proof Quincy Jones A3SUED Michael Jackson. So thanks for watching.
Michael Jackson wasn't even making dollars off of his albums.
How is Michael Jackson not making money off his own music?
Look this shit up.
Who takes that? The record label?
The record label. It's called Points, and
it was an amazing adventure for all of us. We had 3 albums. We did almost 100 million albums.
For example, if they were selling Michael Jackson record Thriller for $9.99, right? How much money do you really think he made off of each copy of Thriller?
Quincy Jones is taking Sony Music and the estate of Michael Jackson to court. The music producer says he is owed millions in royalties generated from some of the...
One is credited as the biggest artiste to walk the face of the earth, while the other was regarded as a god in music production, and together, they give the world some of the biggest records yet. The story of Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones is a tale almost as old as time. But amid all this greatness that they brought to the world, it looks like there were some battles fought behind closed doors. Well, according to Snoop Dogg at least, their relationship wasn't exactly the fairy tale it was painted out to be. It seems that Michael might have been getting the short end of the stick in his relationship with Quincy Jones, so much so that the singer's family might still be bitter about where they ended things. This is one of those stories where your hero gets exposed for not being who you thought they were, so stay with me.
He was telling Frank DeLeo that I think Quincy's losing it, and doesn't understand the market anymore. He doesn't know rap is dead. This is 1987.
Of course, it is almost undeniable that Jones and Michael made an incredible team, but recent revelations have just made it clear that things weren't as rosy as most people would think. This became the clearest thing about their relationship when word got out that Jones might have been seeing Michael financially while they were creating timeless music together. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could he have been ripping Michael off if they were doing incredible numbers and already even had money before they became a team? The answer is simple. It's because Jones credits himself as the reason Michael got as big as he did and believed he deserved a major payday for that. Michael and his family, on the other hand, weren't so keen about letting things slide with Jones. And because of this seemingly small misunderstanding, the pair were in a battle that lasted for years. This, however, is only the beginning of the story because several other aspects of this feud make things a little bit more complex than meets the eye. One of these aspects is the fact that Jones was responsible for the production of some of Michael's biggest records. See what I meant by complex?
Quincy Jones was kicking what looked like a pile of rags on the floor while shouting, "Silent, you mother f***! I said no squeaks!" It turned out that the pile of rags was a gibbering Michael Jackson.
You see, in the mid-1980 SE, Michael's goal, as written in his bathroom mirror, was to sell 100 million copies of the album. Reaching that goal required hits, and that's where Quincy Jones came in. Jones's judicious song selection, sequencing, and unifying touch were essential in achieving Jackson's creative and commercial vision for Bad.
He just has a great quality for excellence, for perfection, and anybody who's worked with him notices this.
By August 1986, Jackson was sending demos over to Jones at Westlake Audio in Los Angeles for review, re-recording, and overdubs. Sessions with Jackson at Westlake got serious in January 1987. When you get a song you feel you like, you put it down with a rhythm section to get it on its feet, and then you hear Michael sing a couple of takes on it, maybe with a couple of background lines to see how it holds up so you can see what it might be and you're not just wasting your time, Jones told Mix in 2007. 2 years after demo sessions began, Jones was anxious for an indisputable hit to complete the album. Bad was finished in July 1987 and cost a total of $2 million. The album sold 35 million copies worldwide, with 8 million in the United States alone, and yielded 5 #1 singles. While these are numbers most acts today would do anything to have, they didn't meet up to the promises Jones had allegedly made to Michael about meeting his 100 million sales goal. Due to this, Bad was Jones's final project with Jackson. Some say it was a clean break, as Bad was the third in a 3-album contract between the two. Others contend that Jackson wanted more creative control and artistic recognition.
So I steered him to a lot of songs like She's Out of My Life, which I was saving for Sinatra. And he cried at the end of it every time.
After Bad peaked, David Geffen began advising Jackson in preparation for upcoming contract negotiations with Sony. Geffen, along with the Jackson family, reportedly engineered Jones's departure because they believed Mickey was getting ripped off by the producer. Jones, on the other hand, had a different perspective on what went down. In the producer's words, key members of Michael's entourage, including his attorney, were whispering in his ear that I'd been getting too much credit. This was really where things started to turn sour between both creatives, as their relationship basically took a nosedive from this point on. Jones was blamed for Bad's inability to surpass Thriller's sales and accolades, as Jackson would leave the Grammys empty-handed that year in 1988. He thought I was getting too old for the business because Bad didn't sell 100 million, Jones told the Financial Times in 2012. I said, Michael, you can't get used to 50, 60 million albums. Come on, man. You can't tell me that 30 million is a bomb. Jackson disagreed and told his manager that I was losing it, Jones said to the New York Times in 2012.
One gift that you hope you have is to be able to see something before it happens, and then work backwards in the details to see how to figure out how to get there.
Jones also didn't want to spend another 3 years working on one album. I ain't gonna sit around in the studio 3 years to make an album with Michael, he told the Chicago Tribune in 1995. Too long, Bad was too long for me. You could say the altercation between Jones and Jackson left the former pretty upset, and he made that clear by making sure things were a lot more difficult for Michael. This was proven when none of the singers' post-Jones albums matched the success of Bad. Following this was allegedly a series of attacks from Jones's camp against Michael, as the producer started to tell what he thought to be his own side of the story.
At that time, Michael's playing was going after all of the big rappers, whether it was Teddy Riley, whatever, all the rap producers to spend 5 times what they were paying me.
Jones claims Jackson's Billie Jean borrowed from Donna Summer's State of Independence, which Jones produced. The notes don't lie, man. I hate to get into this publicly, but Michael stole a lot of stuff. He stole a lot of songs, Jones told Vulture. Donna Summer's State of Independence and Billie Jean. The notes don't lie, man. He was as Machiavellian as they come. Greedy, man, greedy. But Michael's family would later step up to defend the star. His father, Joe Jackson, refuted Jones's claims in an interview with Page Six, saying Jones was quite jealous of Michael because he's never worked with someone with all of that talent.
He claims Michael Jackson was a thief, claiming he stole songs from all kinds of artists.
He talked about Donna Summer's State of Independence and Billie Jean, The Notes Don't Lie.
He also suggested that if there is a similarity between Jackson's song and Donna Summer's song, Jones is to blame. He says my son stole it, but he was the producer on both Billie Jean and State of Independence. So if anybody is wrong, it would be Quincy. Another relative told Page Six that Jones quietly carried a vendetta against Jackson and believes their fallout dates back to over 30 years ago, when the collaborators first disagreed on whether Jones deserved a shot at a Grammy for producing the 1982 hit album Thriller. Michael did all of the work. It's his music and everyone knows Michael's sound. And Thriller was all Michael Jackson, the source explained. Even though Jones is credited in the liner notes, Michael allegedly went to Grammy officials and asked that any producer award go directly to him. Quincy ultimately received the award, but he and Michael were never the same, having fell out for good, according to the relative. This didn't stop Quincy from talking.
I'm kind of curious, why didn't Michael Jackson sing on the album? He said the president of his company didn't want him to sing on my record.
But these weren't the only things Jones had to say about Michael's memory. He also spilled some details about Michael's personal life and struggles in a bid to force more money out of the Jackson family's hands. The producer said Jackson hated his appearance because his abusive father always told him he was ugly, so he got hooked on plastic surgery. He'd always justify it and say it was because of some disease he had. Bull's **T, he recalled.
Was he comfortable in his own skin?
I'm not sure. At times I didn't think so. Well, I don't think he would have gone through the surgical things he went through.
I mean, considering that Michael was pretty open about his medical struggles that required him to get some body work done, this was a big line for Jones to cross. However, that wasn't the height of his feud with Jackson, because as early as 2 years ago, he was still embroiled in a legal battle with the singer's family. Right before the case, here's what Jones said about his little brother.
I miss my little brother, really do. And I just still cannot process the fact that he's no longer with us. I love him.
The case, in which Jones and the Jackson estate are fighting over the producer's claims for millions in royalties, got back to being mainstream after the California Court of Appeal reversed a $9.4 million judgment in Jones's favor. The court erased most of the jury's award to Jones, a total of $9.4 million, and sent the case back to the trial court to amend the judgment accordingly. Jones would later speak about it like he wasn't also after the money in the first place, too.
What do you think of that stuff? Huh? What do you think of the Michael stuff after you?
They're trying to make money, and I understand it. Everybody's after money. The estate, the lawyers, about money.
Lawyers for the Jackson estate celebrated the ruling as a total victory. Quincy Jones was the last person we thought would try to take advantage of Michael Jackson by filing a lawsuit 4 years after he died, asking for tens of millions of dollars he wasn't entitled to, said estate lawyer Howard Weitzman in a statement. We knew the verdict was wrong when we heard it, and the Court of Appeal has completely vindicated us. From the beginning, this was an attempt to take advantage of Michael knowing he wasn't here to defend himself. Asked if the Jackson clan could forgive Quincy for the comments about Michael, the family source told Page 6, "Forgive? Expletive. Michael's not here to defend himself. The world knows that Michael was the #1 artist in the world, and he didn't need to steal from anyone." Fans seem to think Quincy would have been nothing without Michael in his story. And this, according to one user, was proven at the producer's 90th birthday party. They wrote, "No doubt that Quincy Jones's history with Michael Jackson is important, but we're on the 4th Michael song on a birthday celebration that's supposed to encompass his entire career. It's a bit much. Fine, I'm a killjoy. Looks like the world knows exactly who Quincy Jones really is." That's it for this video. Goodbye.